All right. Do 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 do. All right. How's it going, everybody? It is Sandwich Pants here today. Why is that? We've got some stuff to go over, and by stuff to go over, I mean I've got like 1 or 2 points to talk about before we get into the actual main event here. Look right here. In-person debate with Tanky on Taiwan goes off the rails. That would be Dylan versus Haas. But what I want to talk about beforehand is twofold. One, again, if you live in the state of Oklahoma, if you live in the Shawnee or Bethel Acres area, uh, find me on Twitter. I have a friend running a alt account for me while mine is under suspension review at Sandwich Jeans. It should look like. Let's go with the new incognito window and go to Twitter. I don't care. Yeah, here we go. So they're running my thing for me. Boom. You can find me on here, and then you can send me a DM because I would like to talk to you about voting for. Uh, yeah, go to at Sandwich Jeans, send me a DM, and I would like to talk to you about voting for Gregory Harden II, who is a wonderful person and is infinitely nicer than I am. So much kinder. Uh, I can recognize that I can be a bit of a dick. I recognize that. I try not to be. I try and be really kind on stream, especially. Trying to make things a little bit easier for myself overall. But I have grown up in an area where the kind of aggressive nature is what you need to get by here. Doesn't matter if it's passive aggressive or not. You got to figure out some way to get your shit done in this fucking hell state. There are some kind people here though. Second thing is I have been rewatching. I've been checking all of them. I rewatched the Vosh versus non-compete debate. Vosh going over Luna's dialectical materialism video, the follow-up video Vosh made, and the video that non-compete made about Vosh's rhetorical tricks. The video Vosh made about non-compete's video on him. I've seen that too. So I've been going over all of them, and honestly, non-compete is he's very smooth-brained. He doesn't have much up going on up here, and I'm very dumb. I admit this. But non-compete's even worse. Like keep that in mind, all right? If I am calling you dumb, that says way more about you than it does about me, my perception of myself, because I know I'm not that smart. I'm smarter than some people, obviously, but I'm nowhere near the smartest person on the planet. That's why I read theory and listen to other people and try and learn from other people because I've got shit to learn. Now, I am going to try and go more onto the line of starting with, I think this was dumb to say, or I think this is a bad idea, or this isn't really thought out that well. But at some point, like, especially with some people, uh, the troll who has made 3 separate Twitter accounts. Three. That's right. There are 3 fake accounts for sandwich pants. Uh, that guy, yeah, he's he's very my my anti-ableism is being tested with this one. I promise you. We'll just say that his skull is shaped like this on the top. He has a U-shaped skull on the top. It's kind of a big smiley face, you know? Here, it goes like this. And then he's got his hair or whatever up here. This is the actual skull shape. And here's his eyes. He's crying. He's very sad. Now that's bad, right? That's a very bad thing. Meanwhile, you've got let's scroll in and actually give them eyes. Oop. There we go. In contrast to non-compete, at least there's plenty of room up here for a brain to have resided, even if it's a bit squished. We've got Haas. Oh, I never even showed it. Oh, that's probably good. Oh, well. All right, so let's go ahead and get... Hey, you're supposed to minimize, not this. Let's go ahead and get this started, because this is so fucking phenomenal. These are the coming up things. Oh, oh. These are the messages to Vosh. I heard you wanted to box, which he didn't. Vosh never said that. Let's do it 3 weeks to 1 month from now. I can do 2 weeks too. I expect an answer by tonight. Which Vosh said no, because Vosh would crush him. Vosh is around 7 or 5 to 7 inches taller than Haas. Boxed for 8 years. And also, Vosh doesn't box anymore. Okay. Haas, you said you didn't dodge a boxing match. You just agreed. You just admitted openly on camera that you agreed to a boxing match against Dylan. You're right. You're right. Yeah, and then he's not gonna acknowledge it anymore. Yeah, he's dodging a boxing match against Dylan. Dylan has just called him out on that. Dylan was right, and Haas is still going because he's fucking stupid. And that's the big one. Haas, dude, you're a fucking baby. You found out Dylan has experience boxing and you backed out. Did you know Vosh has 8 years of boxing experience? You'd have backed out then too. You challenge people to fucking fights and then you back the fuck out. I, a real Chad, don't challenge people to fights and don't accept other people's challenge to fights because I'm not fucking dumb. For one, what good does getting into a fight with another person do for me? What good does a boxing match do for me, for my community, for the people that I help look after? Nothing. Literally nothing. And two, I'm disabled. I'm not about to go trying to move around a fucking boxing ring. Like, fuck that. The last fight I got into ended with me walking away because I was bored. Guys. I wouldn't want to fight Dylan, though. Dylan would whoop my ass, hands down. I accept this. Dylan would destroy me. Vosh would probably whoop my ass as well. I don't know about Haas. I'm not scared of Haas. But at the same time, I don't fight anymore. I haven't been in a I have not been in a fight, to be completely transparent, in 11 years. Over a decade. I haven't been in a fight. I haven't needed to. I have done some boxing, but I don't consider that a fight. And everybody's laughing at him, and now he's all insecure about it. True. Fucking true. It's a little bit toxic, but Haas is so fucking toxic that nothing Dylan says there could really top it. Haas is a child. That's it. He's like 24-year-old child. See, those are words I try not to say, honestly. Uh, the R slur, um, which is very sad because it before 2017, that was my favorite word. It's very hard. It really is. And to be fair, I am autistic, so can't hate on me for it. Sorry, what's going on, Campbell? Okay. Um, let's see. Oh, hey. What is the Mandarin, Hokkien? Oh, look, they even have a sign language. Look at that. The official language is standard Chinese, official script is Chinese, but they have Mandarin, Hokkien, Hakka, Formosan, Matsu, Wu Kui. Taiwanese, also known as Tai, Taiwanese, Hokkien, Taiwanese, Holo, is a variety of the Hokkien language spoken natively by about 70% of the population of Taiwan. Oh, what do you know? Hey, I didn't mean to click it, but hmm. Oh, you don't like him because he, you know, shits on Assad. I completely understand why you don't like him. Um, I have my disagreements with him. It's not on anything involving Assad, but nah, I like Dylan. He's a good dude. Oz is an idiot. I'm gonna be right back. True.
Firstly, let me preface this by saying there is absolutely no historical basis for the region of Taiwan to be a separate country from China. The history of the relationship between the Han Chinese and the indigenous people of Taiwan is a rather interesting one. The only problem is that Taiwan is currently around 98 to 99% Han Chinese. So there's absolutely no basis in the historically indigenous people of Taiwan for the for independence movement. As a matter of fact, some of the most renowned indigenous politicians within Taiwan are the most ardent advocates for unification and anti-independence. So it's rather interesting that the indigenous people of Taiwan, by and large, are against independence, whereas some Han liberal elites within Taiwan, pro-American, are the most in favor of independence. So this talk of the indigenous struggle against the Qing or the Han Chinese is a complete nonsensical non-factor in the question of whether Taiwan is a country or not, because indigenous people do not factor whatsoever in the question of whether Taiwan is an independent country. Now, second of all, in the history, I will concede that politics has oftentimes played a role in defining nation states. France was a historically united region based on the Kingdom of France and the common shared language, customs, etc., but it did not become a nation state until it was united by the Republic in ideals of the French Revolution. So I will concede that politics often plays a part, politics and religion, in the formation of nations. The only problem is...
Okay, so something I'm noticing. The Dutch colonized Taiwan and then opened it up to colonialism by the Han Chinese, or by just China.
That China is not just a nation. It is not a nation state. It is a 5,000-year-long civilization that has endured many different types of political systems and political forms, while nonetheless maintaining being the one country of China, the one civilization of China, Zhongguo, the middle kingdom of the world, how it conceived itself. So this 5,000-year-long civilization is not reducible to a certain political project or a political ideal, which is actually something the the nationalists like Chiang Kai-shek were able to respect and acknowledge throughout the entirety of the Republic of China's struggle against the People's Republic, a civil war.
Hey, Haas, question. Why are you speaking over the Chinese people? China's not a nation state, huh? It's chilly, but not that cold. It gets down to, okay, hold on. I don't know Celsius. I don't even remember how to spell Fahrenheit. Well, it's currently 7 degrees Celsius. 7.77 degrees. But it got down to, over the last week, negative 11 degrees Celsius. So, I feel for you over there in terms of the weather. But yeah, Haas, why are you speaking over the Chinese people? China, for the last 100 years, has called itself a nation state and has developed the forms of a nation state. That was in 2009. China as a civilization state. The use of this new term implies that China was and still is an empire state with a unique political tradition. No, it does everything that every other country does, essentially. As a matter of fact, a sovereign state whose citizens or subjects are relatively homogeneous in factors such as language or common descent. Yeah, it currently is hotter. Yeah, it's daytime here. So let's see. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, 91.1% Han. I totally should have done this a different way. Let me just open that way. Boom. Okay, so relatively homogeneous in factors such as language or common descent. 91.1% Han Chinese. I like people getting independence for themselves, Camel. When truly oppressed groups are looking for their autonomy, it's fine. No, imperialism would imply that I'm going in and, conquering the area. Generally, do you know what imperialism actually is? Do you know what an imperialist mindset actually is? Jesus fucking Christ. Way to go, Camel. You are just hands down the most brain dead fuck that comes into my chat. Constantly misusing words. Oh, yeah, all other parties are either outlawed or allowed to take only a limited role in governance. Which, yeah, that fits. Socialist Republic? No, they are capitalist. No such thing as a communist state. Wait, do they not have official language? Standard Chinese. Bang bang. Yes, yes, I have. That's a military strategy, quite generally. Now, here's the deal. If the people themselves are looking for the autonomy, as is the case in Taiwan, as is the case with the Kurds, and also the fact that Rojava itself isn't even all Kurdish. There's a lot of Arabs. Oh, what's this? What is this? Official languages. Where is the region? While entertaining some foreign relations, the region is not officially recognized as autonomous by the government of Syria or any state except Catalan, which is dope. The AANES has widespread support for its universal, equal, democratic, sustainable, autonomous, pluralist, equal, and feminist policies and dialogues with other parties and organizations. Northeastern Syria is polyethnic and home to a sizable ethnic Kurdish, Arab, and Assyrian populations, with smaller communities of ethnic Turkmen, Armenians, Circassians, and Yazidis. And that's the area that Rojava is, and they are all included in dialogues. Look at that. Languages: Kurdish, Arabic, Syriac, Turkish. I don't know how to pronounce this one. I'm sorry. I don't want to butcher that word. Wow. Wow. They've got around 2 million people who actually like their stuff. Yeah, and they seem to be pretty fucking popular. So, that's cool. Greater Kurdistan, wherein the Kurds form a prominent majority population in the Kurdish culture. Yeah, see, but they've been cut up, like, because see, the problem that is going on right now in a lot of these areas is because of Western colonialism. These borders were all cut up without any thought for ethnic groups or anything. They didn't take into account any conflicts or whatever. I'm not inclined to believe you since, you're part of the furthest right political party in your country. You are a hardcore ultra-nationalist. Anyways, this is completely irrelevant to what I'm doing right now, so we're not going to allow you to derail to Syria.
That technically did not end. Both Chiang Kai-shek and Mao Zedong recognized that there is one China. They were merely disagreeing over who should rule that one China. And the independence movement of Taiwan has never been popular. It's always been a marginal phenomenon. A phenomenon we can infer was definitely propped up by the Americans. Chiang Kai-shek himself had to butt heads with the Americans and engage in minor diplomatic conflicts with the Americans who were pushing independence. The founding mission of the Kuomintang, sorry if I mispronounced it.
He is fucking no. He is butchering this. And ending over 2,000 years of imperial rule from its founding until 1949 was based. Under an authoritarian one-party state, which, yeah, that's not good. After Japanese surrender, you're pretty extreme on the nationalist scale. You say things like, I have my criticisms of Assad, and then you never give them and defend everything that has ever been done by Assad. You even deny some of the shit that has obviously been done by Assad. I mean, if he's used chemical weapons 36 times, why wouldn't he use them a 37th? He hasn't gotten in trouble for him yet. To watch who? Hawes? If you're talking about Hawes, he's a fucking idiot, dude. If you like Hawes, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, it's because he criticizes Assad. And he's very intelligent on these kinds of things. Like, I read the entire OCPW report. Or OPCW, whatever the fuck that organization's called. I read the entire report. I read the whistleblower shit. I read the report. I read everything that followed up after it. It's pretty much a done deal.
Was one China. The notion that Taiwan would become an independent effaces the very foundation of Taiwan as a so-called separate country from the People's Republic. The founding mission of the Kuomintang was based on the ideals of Sun Yat-sen.
Okay, now here's the thing. Something I really have to hammer in on. Oz claims to be a communist. And he's going back to what the authoritarian fascistic party who colonized Taiwan and called it the Republic of China set up their party to do. And there's two parties, and the KMT isn't the one that's ruling majority. The other party is more of an independence party. It's a democracy party. It doesn't actually want to unify with China, at least not broadly. There's a small contingency of people who do, but you can't keep going back to the historic bullshit founding doctrine by the KMT. Guess what? That's over with. They have a different constitution. They have different material conditions. They have different interests. They have a different culture. They have a different language. They are a different fucking country. The West does not control all information and media.
For the unification and
that is patently false.
Rejuvenation of the giant 5,000-year-long Chinese civilization on the basis.
China has more control over its media than fucking the U.S. does. Like, come on. The U.S. is bad, and they do censor and can and manipulate some information, a fair amount of information. Let me not downplay that. But they don't control all media and information that everyone gets. No. This is patently false. By the way, buddy. Virtual private network. VPN. They allow you to fucking isolate your shit, move your... You can go to other areas. NordVPN. Boom. It just moves you. That's because you don't know really anything, Camel. But it's okay. See, because I guess I'm more of an anarchist. I'm a little confused here. Yes, they do. What are you talking about? Yes, they do. Oh, with the no, they don't. They literally don't. I can get information right now that is not controlled by the West. Camel. Jesus fuck. Why do you people why? Why do you right wingers never have any fucking media literacy? Why can't you look at a source and pick apart the inaccuracies, the things that don't seem to line up, get information from multiple sources, composite the correct information that lines up, and go ahead with the information that you definitely have? Why the fuck can't you ever do this shit? I've never met a right winger who can do this. Ever.
Of the ideals of the modern world. Now, finally, the notion that a Chinese invasion of Taiwan, a Chinese invasion of China, in other words, would lead to a refugee crisis, assumes that the people of Taiwan, the Chinese people of Taiwan, are willing to fight to defend the status quo that is now in place. Every form of research and study that has been conducted among the people of Taiwan has shown that they are not willing to take up arms, they are not willing to have any bloodshed to prevent unification with China. So there's no impetus for the people of Taiwan why would there be refugees when there would be no conflict to begin with? China, if hypothetically this would happen, would simply come in and finally, I want to make one last point. The notion that Taiwan's current constitution and laws gravely misunderstands the current Chinese system. The Chinese system, the president said by Hong Kong, is a one country, two system. Many different systems can exist under the sovereignty of one China.
I don't want integrated oncology. Here we go. Council of Foreign Relations, not a bad place to go. Under pledge to preserve what makes much of what makes Hong Kong unique when the former British colony was handed over more than 2 decades ago. Beijing said it would give Hong Kong 50 years to keep its capitalist system and enjoy many freedoms not found in mainland Chinese cities. But it seems that these promises are fading. In recent years, Beijing has taken what critics say are brazen steps to encroach on Hong Kong's political system and crack down on dissent, which is true. These moves sparked massive protests in Hong Kong and have drawn in. Okay, so Hong Kong is a special administrative region. And this is the problem that I have with uh, the regional governments that the Kurds are seeking is that they actually have to be still have to listen to like Assad and shit. But if that's what they want, I can't dissuade them from it. National unification policy developed by Chinese leader Deng Xiaoping in the 1980s. The concept was intended to help integrate Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Macau with sovereign China while preserving their unique political and economic systems. After more than a century and a half of colonial rule, the British government returned Hong Kong in 1997. Qing dynasty leaders ceded Hong Kong Island to the British Crown in 1842 after China's defeat in the First Opium War. Yep. Pretty good question there. I actually don't know. Okay. That's an English language news channel owned by Al Jazeera Media Network. Headquarters: Doha, Qatar, London, UK, Washington D.C., U.S. Yeah, it's got headquarters all over. Sky, UK, and Ireland. That's where it's put on. Oh, huh. Qatar. The original Arabic language channel already had an international scope. Um, okay. Of course, fucking Press TV. Um, yeah, Qatar funds Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera Media Network. Qatari International Public Media Conglomerate. Al Jazeera Media Network is a Qatari international public media conglomerate. No. No. Not Mossad. Oh, what do you know? You're fucking stupid, Camel.
China has expressed, People's Republic of China has expressed its fullest intention to allow the people of Taiwan to maintain their specific system so long as they acknowledge there is only one China.
Oh, oh, no, no. Oh, wait, one was this updated? Oh, they meddle in the democracy. God, so fucking dumb. Al Jazeera Media Network, owned by the fucking Qatari government, or, paid for by the Qatari government, owned by the media company here, who has chairman. It's a public media conglomerate, publicly owned. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. Owned by Saudi King Fahd's cousin, Khalid bin Faisal Al Saud. Like, yeah, no. You're so dumb. Holy shit. When was this put out is the question. Last updated February 17th. Okay. Beijing has been chipping away at Hong Kong's freedom since the handover, experts say. Over the years, it's attempted to impose more control over the city to spark mass protest, but yep, Chinese government cracked down. Everyone is a puppet state to you. Except America. So, no. No. National security legislation that would prohibit treason, secession, sedition, and subversion against the Chinese government. Oh, what do you know? In 2012, it tried to amend Hong Kong schools' curricula to foster Chinese national identity, which many residents saw as Chinese propaganda, which it is. And in 2014, Beijing proposed a framework for universal suffrage, allowing Hong Kongers to vote for the city's chief executive, but only from a Beijing-approved short list of candidates. Of course, protesters organized massive rallies known as the Umbrella Movement to call for democracy. Oh, but here we go. Syria is backed and controlled by Russia. Everything you do is backed and funded and probably ordered by Putin. If you want to get conspiratorial, let's fucking do it, buddy. No. No, Iraq and Lebanon, they're not. Iraq has a democracy, and Iraq doesn't like America. Their government has passed resolutions to tell us to get the fuck out of their country. What you got now? The only reason Assad is stable is because of Putin. You're propped up by Putin, by Russia. That doesn't mean it's a fucking puppet state, you idiot. If the people they're trying to buy air defense batteries from say no, that doesn't mean they're a puppet state. It means they're not selling them.
They make up 2% of the population, yet 60% of the nation's special elite forces. 60%. They make up.
Yeah, to calm the people down, only cheap play. I don't know what the fuck you're trying to say there, Camel.
Extremely disproportionate amount of the nation's military. The military that defends Taiwan. The indigenous community, which you say, oh, many of them love the idea of Chinese invasion or Chinese coming or any of these things. They vastly support Taiwan being independent. And number two, they're overrepresented when it comes to the military. And if you talk about them being famous people, that's true. A lot of people The KMT wants one China. Stop interrupting me. Okay? The internet. We're very good. So what? I don't care if it's not on the internet. What?
And this is the really annoying thing. This stupid fuck doesn't have any decorum. None. He's so toxic and stupid that not only can he not interrupt the person he's debating against in a live format, which is just basic manners. Holy shit. 2, nothing he says is true. At least most of what he says isn't true. I mean, it's true that there's a lot of indigenous people in the KMT, but that was the big party there. Oh, yeah, no, they like straight up were like, you need to get the fuck out of our country. It's not just to calm the people down. They really don't like America. You can't just call everybody that you don't like a puppet state. When in all actuality, you are far closer to being a puppet state to Russia than Iraq is to being a puppet state to America. And I swear to God, if you say Afghanistan, you already said Lebanon, which is dumb. Next, you're going to say Libya. You might actually have an argument with Libya.
The indigenous community are overrepresented in the military because they're willing to defend Taiwan and the system of government that has slowly evolved on across the Taiwan Strait. Studies show otherwise. That's not true. By the way, the studies you reference when it comes to but the time.
And Haas is wrong. I've looked at these studies before on stream. Dylan's correct. Yeah, I'm going to have to see proof of that. Because I've looked. Because I've seen other Syrian nationalists saying dumb shit like that before, too. And I've never seen proof. Ever.
Two-thirds of the population of Taiwan have said they'd be willing to pick up arms to defend Taiwan. Two-thirds of the population. That's bullshit. That's just 100% bullshit. If the Taipei Times has said 2/3 of the people of Taiwan are willing to take up arms, the Taipei Times is lying.
That's a bullshit excuse, Camel. Assad doesn't have to, use chemical weapons on civilians to keep existing. Assad doesn't have to order the murder of Kurdish protesters to keep existing. Assad doesn't have to ally with Vladimir Putin, a fascist, to keep existing. You're not allied with. If you're just going to call everybody who is allied with or has ties to America a puppet state, you're a fucking puppet state to Russia, by your own definition. So, no, I don't want to hear this fucking puppet state bullshit. Does America have some puppet states? Yeah. South Korea. That's a pretty big one there. We did some really fucked up shit. America has done really fucked up shit. But we don't have as many puppet states as people like to think we do. America stopped doing the puppet state game a while back and started trying to do diplomacy. We have some actual allies, even if we lie to them and rip them off and backstab them. Sometimes. Somewhat frequently, actually. Look, America's not good. But there's really not that many good countries on this planet. That's the problem. No, it is fucking not, Camel. Get the fuck out of my chat. You fucking dipshit.
There's no way for us to independently verify this right now, so anybody can Google it. Google it. Everybody know? The people then Google it at home. Look up informed studies. The surveys have shown, the polling has shown, people in Taiwan are not willing to risk any bloodshed in the midst of the Chinese People's Republic of China. It's not true. 2/3 of the population. You have one source and multiple sources. You haven't even source one study.
Okay. I know I did not spell that right. Taipei times, Taiwanese times, to the end of December. Okay. Boom. Nearly 90% of the public identify themselves as Taiwanese, and about 2/3 say they are willing to fight for the country in case of war. Taipei Times. Okay. Over 50% of Taiwanese favor de jure sovereign state. Less than 13% support unification with China. This was in 2020. Over half of Taiwanese support formal independence for their country, according to a survey released by the Taiwanese Public Opinion Foundation. Around 54% of the respondents support official independence for Taiwan. Meanwhile, 23.4% prefer maintaining the status quo, 12.5% favor unification with China, and 10% do not hold any particular view on the matter. Unification as soon as possible. It had a spike up and then way back down, 1.4%. It's at like a low. Maintain status quo, decide at later date is the gray with triangles. It dipped down to 24% in 95 to below non-response, which was fairly high. Now it's at 28.4%, which is fairly high. Non-response is very low at around 6%. Maintain status quo, move towards unification is also at 6%. Maintain status quo indefinitely has moved up to 27.3%. Independence as soon as possible is at 25. So essentially you have maintain status quo, decide at later date at almost a third, maintain status quo indefinitely at almost a third, and independence as soon as possible at around a quarter. In the chart. Merged annually to generate data points, except those released in June. They come from surveys conducted between January and June. Okay. For data collection methodology, please see here. When quoted, please state clearly in writing if you want to apply for the data. Okay. So, from the Election Study Center, National Chengchi University, from Taiwan, we have this chart starting 1994 to 2021. Every single year they have data points. And it turns out that independence is fairly fucking popular. This ended in 2021. This was in August 2021. And this was in 2020. So we don't have 2022 because we're not very far into 2022. We don't have any data for 2022 to see what it's like. Taipei Times poll says 72.5% of Taiwanese willing to fight against forced integration. Against forced unification by China. Yep. That's what I thought. A breakdown in response by age groups of the young people are more willing to defend the nation against Chinese invasion, he said. Showed the statement, there might be some problems with democracy, but it remains the best system available, which is true. If you're going to have a system of governance, democracy is the best one. Direct democracy is the best one, not representative democracy. 75.3% of respondents agree, while 14.1% disagreed. The result showed that 53.2% of respondents are satisfied with Taiwan's democratic practices, while 40.6% are dissatisfied, with respondents in their 20s being the most satisfied and those aged 60 or older the most dissatisfied. Optimistic about the future. So over half of them are. Nostalgia over the nation's authoritarian regime, which many older Taiwanese seem to have, might account for their having less faith in democracy. All right. Yep. I've officially confirmed by Googling at home, the way that Hawes said, that he's full of fucking shit.
Google it at home. Yeah, okay. I have one source.
And Dylan's one source is infinitely more correct than Hawes's made up bullshit. He's making it up. He's stupid. He's aggressive. Yeah, because that's what happens when he doesn't understand a concept. He gets mad, and because he's mad, because he doesn't understand, he wants to hit it. It's monkey brain. Yeah, straight up. Hawes, if you wanted to go to a live fucking debate where you can't just spout off bullshit, I mean, you actually can spout off more bullshit in live debate than you can on a debate online. Because in a debate online, you can be like, hold on, what the fuck are you talking about? And pull up the information. And a live debate is a little bit harder. However, he should have come prepared. He's spouting off bullshit. He has no sources, even incorrect, out-of-date ones. Nothing. He's just like, you can just Google it at home. And Dylan's sitting there with a fucking binder because he actually came prepared to a debate.
Actually, the thing is, I don't need a binder. That's the thing. I don't need a tape. I'm going to work that. Yeah. Listen, the thing is, I don't need a binder. I don't need to cite one study from the Taipei Times. To the extent of my familiarity, the people of Taiwan are not. It's up to the audience to independently verify. I can trust that I'll come out on the right thing. Okay.
He's wrong. He's wrong. Hawes, you're dumb.
KMT, this is about the difference the KMT, when it comes to the independence struggle, whether it's independence or popular, has lost its last two elections. China has won the last two elections. In decent amounts of the Democratic Progressive Party, which is the party that she's part of, is the Independence Party, the pro-independence party. And she has stated on multiple occasions and has been reelected on the platform of Taiwan does not need to declare independence, so we are already independent. She points to the judicial system, she points to the military, she points to the language, she points to a separate history, she points to all these things who are just about the reasons to show that Taiwan is independent. And the world is upholding the facade that it isn't independent. They're pretending. The thing is, if I go to Taiwan and I call the Chinese fleet, the mainland Chinese fleet, if I'm getting money, they're not going to show up. You know, if you, the Taiwanese in a region of China, it would work the same exact way. You're not going to call the region in southern China if you're in northern China. What a stupid point. Second of all, are you really saying that the Chinese government has authority over the Taiwanese government? It doesn't have authority in Hong Kong. It doesn't have authority in Hong Kong.
The Chinese government doesn't have authority in Hong Kong. But they've been actively doing things to fuck with Hong Kong for a long time. Hawes, you idiot!
The U.S. sent agents all over the world.
Oh, the chat energy from Dylan. Just Hawes starts yelling. He's like, lower your voice. Lower your voice. And he did it. He listened. For once.
So what? They do it because they're trying to assert their direct authority. China has agents in Taiwan. China has agents in Taiwan. That they are trying to enforce their authority. For example, in Hong Kong. China has agents in Hong Kong. What about the one-two system? He thinks it's so favorable, even though the Taiwanese people are horrified at this notion, definitely after development in Hong Kong. In Hong Kong, due to recent legislation of the past, if you boo the Chinese national anthem, you can actually go to prison for that due to national security legislation that the Chinese government has put in there. There's similar laws in South Korea. And I disagree with the law. And that came from. So why are you blaming the People's Republic? That came from. That's part of East Asian culture. But you don't disrespect the national anthem.
Not necessarily. You named one other fucking country. That's not all of East Asia. or Southeast Asia. That's not. I don't know how Dylan does it. I really fucking don't.
If I go to Taiwan and I say, fuck Taiwan, fuck the government, boom, the national anthem, they won't arrest me because they have a dedication to democracy, unlike the mainland. Now, that's only recently because of liberalization efforts that came at the expense of the status quo of the KMT. But moreover, there's a number of points you weaseled your way out of. So I want to pin your opinion on.
He didn't weasel out of anything. Pause is just incredibly fucking stupid.
So first of all, you claim that first you made the claim that the overwhelming majority of the armed forces are made up by indigenous people. That's not the special forces. That's not because they're pro-independence. They have always been a stronghold of KMT loyalism and fierce anti-independence sentiment. So it's a complete non-point. You mentioned the president of Taiwan say that we're already a country, we want to maintain the status quo. Then maintain the status quo. But try to change your official name to the Republic of Taiwan and see what will happen. It is the Republic of China that is the current status quo. She's saying we basically function already as another country. That's her opinion. See what happens when they try to make that formal or official, and see what the response is going to be from China. If Taiwan attempts to pursue secession from China, China will act swiftly in response. And the U.S. can't do a goddamn thing about it, whether you like it or not. They can't do a goddamn thing about it. I'm sure you're not a military general, okay? No matter how many Soviets have to go. Then just wait a few years. Wait a few years. Anyway, when it comes to the idea that the indigenous know they don't support independence, even though they were at the front and center of every single independent struggle in Taiwanese history.
Boom. Yep, because it's been colonized. Like Taiwan is a colonist nation, but if they can, okay, it is a colonist nation, which is bad. If they can, uh, come to agreeable, favorable terms for the indigenous peoples of Taiwan, then I think it'll be all right. They gotta come to the table and talk to them and recognize that, hey, like this is actually a really good uh opportunity, because if they, Taiwan's pushing China, they're like, we don't want to deal with you. We're independent. We're our own people. The indigenous people can be like, hey, you know how you're fighting off like Chinese colonialism at the moment? We're kind of the indigenous people, and you did kind of colonize us. Let's work out something here. Unless it's partially recognized Pingu indigenous peoples, published in Chinese and translated here into English. Taiwan is the sacred land where generations of our ancestors lived and protected with their lives. It doesn't belong to China. Chinese sovereignty is a historical conclusion. No. But the powerful entry of indigenous voices into the escalating rumble of cross-strait acrimony drew attention to Taiwan's approximately 530,000 indigenous residents, who make up about 2.3% of the island's population. There may have been more indigenous residents before the occupation by China and Japan and the Dutch. We do not share the monoculturalism, unification, and hegemony promoted by you, Mr. Xi, on behalf of the government of China. It is far from greatness. It is of nothing that we desire. Be humble to the land, respecting other lives, to coexist with other groups of people in pursuit of common good. These are values that we believe in. Fucking based. But their tacit alignment with the stance of Tsai's ruling Democratic Progressive Party, which favors eventual independence, that Taiwan is not and will never be a part of what the letter calls the so-called Chinese nation. However, the truth is far more complex, especially to activists such as Panay Kusui, a singer and indigenous leader born to parents of the Puyuma and Amis tribes. If you take out Dear Xi Jinping and replace it with Dear the Tsai administration, the letter would work just as well. Taiwan's indigenous original inhabitants are seeking comprehensive transitional justice after centuries of exploitation at the hands of various colonizers, including the Han Chinese settlers, whom they predate. In 2016, Tsai Ing-wen became the first Taiwanese leader to officially apologize to the island's indigenous population, acknowledging that past governments had failed to implement the Indigenous Peoples Basic Law passed in 2005 to grant a wide range of rights to indigenous residents, and promised progress during her administration. This progress has come slower than once hoped for a population that remains poorer and less educated than citizens of Han Chinese ethnicity. The letter to Xi Jinping notes this, saying, "We are not content with the current state of Taiwan, the sovereign state that was built upon our motherland." Panay is a key figure in the indigenous occupation in central Taipei that has persisted for over 700 days. And on February 1st, day 709, one of the coldest days of winter, she sat in the center of Taipei's 228-piece park, bundled in 5 layers of clothing and clutching a tarp to block the afternoon breeze. The occupation began shortly after the government's ministry-level Council of Indigenous Peoples announced the guidelines for demarcating Aboriginal land or tribal areas, intended to jumpstart the process of allowing indigenous land claims laid out in the 2005 Basic Law. However, the 2017 guidelines restrict indigenous claims to publicly owned lands and disallowed claims on privately owned plots, leading Panay and her fellow occupiers to see the move as unjustly favoring developers and as a shattered promise from Taiwan's leader. In Tsai Ing-wen's apology, what she said was something we could identify with. When it comes to implementing what she's saying, it's wrong again. She's lying to the people. So, she needs to listen. And this is kind of older. This makes sense. But, yeah, no, Haas, wrong again. Dylan, correct.
There's no continuity between the historical struggles of the Taiwanese indigenous population and the current Taiwanese independence movement, which is overwhelmingly dominated by non-Chinese liberals.
Well, by pure numbers, yeah. Per capita? No! But Haas is smooth-brained. He has the learning capacity of a koala. And he hasn't learned to stop doing fucking debates and spewing bullshit constantly. So he continues to get fucking wrecked.
So why is there disproportionate amount in the special forces, but not a disproportionate amount in the independence movement? No, there isn't. Isn't it? What percentage of indigenous people support the independence movement? It's not 2/3. It's not 50%. It's not 2/3. It could not be more than 20%. Do you have any data for that? I'm willing to risk everything by saying that. Everything. Yeah. Okay, I'm already doing that by debating you right now. So what was the second point you made? What was the second point besides that? The second point was about the history of nation states and politics. Okay, well, that was that. So, even if we were to disregard all historical bases for Taiwan being an independent nation when it comes to the current struggle, let's just talk about modern history. The people of Taiwan struggled against anti-Czech warfare. Many struggled against white terrorists or the system of purges that anti-Czech was done from 1987 from about 1950 after the first. And that because of the government, they were scared that this would jeopardize their ability to reconquer the mainland of China, since most of the independence struggle didn't really have any interest in invading the Chinese mainland and reconquering. And so they purged them. Hundreds of thousands were purged in fact. And those people struggled for years until the 1990s when they eventually gave back to democracy. And that history of struggle is the history of modern Taiwan, struggling against the authoritarian system of government that was in place. And then they were able to institute a liberal democracy, which they have to this day. Of course I disagree. The military might of the Kuomintang is the foundation of Taiwan as having any political independence.
Well, the Kuomintang is no longer the leading party, so no, it's actually the DPP, the Democratic Progressive Party. So you're wrong, Haas.
From the mainland whatsoever. It is the arms taken up by the KMT that has secured that. It is for the same reason that is the arms of the special forces that you're talking about, made up by the pro-KMT loyalists. I mean, the KMT are the ones who are securing the political independence in the first place. If these liberals want to go and democracy has not secured any. The literal democracy you're talking about has no basis in any sovereign power. Okay, it has no basis in any military power. The same power that made Taiwan possible as a separate state in the first place is something the liberal Democrats have no stronghold in whatsoever. So it is only on the basis of the ideals of the KMT and the view that there is one China that has kept Taiwan separate from the mainland in the first place. Can you address the point that I'm following? Never addressed my point. What's your point? My point was that the modern history of Taiwan, when it comes to population, is a history of struggle against authoritarian. But let me finish, please. But first you have to say, I heard.
Yeah, again, Haas doesn't know how the fuck to shut up. He's incapable of any level of decorum. He really is. Like, it's ridiculous.
Finish. I will finish. Yeah, you'll be quiet. Wait, really? Will I be quiet? Yeah, you will be quiet. On what? Me, because I'm talking. It's a debate. It's conversation. Okay. Well, don't sit here and say you will be quiet. Then be quiet. I'm not gonna fucking be quiet. If you tell me to be quiet, I won't be. How about that? Okay, you won't be? No. Okay, then yell. Yeah. So, with that being said, you can keep yelling. You can keep fucking yelling. You can keep fucking yelling. Listen. That history of democracy was first you had the KMT security. So why wasn't it? Why didn't that democracy movement extend to the mainland? Because the democracy is a second.
No, I timed you out. For being fucking stupid. And not knowing anything you're talking about. Holy shit.
It's fucking territory. It's a separate territory. No, it's not. It's a separate territory. It's a separate territory. It's a separate territory because the KMT secured it as such. Okay, calm down. Yeah, that's the only reason it's a fucking separate territory in the first place. Stop swinging out and calm down. Okay? You're a time waster. You bullshit and waste time. You're not letting me speak. You're fucking.
Haas just interrupts every time. The reason that Haas interrupts is not just because he's very stupid. It's because he knows that every single point that another person makes is one that refutes anything that he has said previously. So there's kind of that. He just constantly while somebody's trying to make a point that refutes what he said, and he will use that to try and redirect. Yeah? Well, this is my stream, camel. My stream. And my chat. If I want to time you out for saying dumb shit, I can do that. You're not banned. You're always allowed to be here. But sometimes I just need you to shut the fuck up. The fact it deletes your messages, that's not something I have control over, and I actually don't like that. I just wanted you to be muted.
You need to shut the fuck up. Jesus Christ. Go ahead, say your piece. My God. Okay, so the history, finally, for the good time, the history of modern Taiwan is the history of struggle against political authoritarianism, particularly Chiang Kai-shek, okay? Chiang Kai-shek, he did a white terror against the people of Taiwan, and they fought for their freedom, and they earned.
Oh, Haas? Yeah, absolutely. He doesn't. Like, he's very fucking dumb. And what's bad is Jackson Hinkle is even dumber, even less charismatic, and just as toxic. I don't know how the fuck anybody follow. Oh, I know why people follow him. It's because he debated Vosh and was very dumb and loud and screamed about how he won and Jesus Christ. And people who hate Vosh go to watch him. And they get dumber for it. Same thing with Haas. Haas got blown the fuck out in a debate with Vosh. He was toyed with. Every debate I've ever seen him do is him getting shit on constantly with information that he didn't know. Shit that he was wrong about being corrected. And then he just starts screaming. And then he goes back to his fucking chat and does some cringy shit. It's super fucking cringy. Here, I'll show you. Copyright free epic music. Here. Imperialism, the highest state of capitalism. There you go. That's a preview. That's the kind of dumb shit that they do at the end of debates, despite getting blown the fuck out constantly.
Through blood and sacrifice against government. For the last 30 years, they've upheld a democracy, which through that democracy and the consent of the governed, they have been able to elect democracies and politicians represent their interests. And the vast majority of people in Taiwan support continuing the status quo. And second, if you were to follow status quo, is the independence when you check polling. The reason why they choose the status quo currently over independence is purely because if they were, and I agree with Bob on this, to declare independence right now, they would be bombed to shit and millions would die.
No, that's true.
That's a terrible thing, by the way. That a nation.
Yeah, did you find the Haas impression humorous?
And its people declaring independence, even though it's already independent, will result in a bombing and destruction of a sovereign people with its own identity, culture, language that has started and continues to separately develop. What happened to the Confederates? Let's talk about that. What is the current evil that the Chinese government? When you secede from a sovereign territory, that sovereign is not.
Yeah. Here, let me ask you a fucking question and then not let you speak at all. Haas. He knows he's defeated right now. Like, that's the thing.
He tolerates it. Got to be able to respond to the question. Yeah. Okay. So the difference between the Confederacy and when you talk about this, the evil is this from the Chinese perspective. It is cutting off a piece of China and basically submitting it to foreigners. China has endured a century of humiliation. It remembers the century of humiliation. China will never submit to the dominance of Anglo-Saxon imperialists, and it will refuse this on bond of war. So.
Well, it's a good thing that the Taiwanese people themselves want independence and not the U.S. The U.S. just benefits from the independence. That's literally it. That's it. That's all it is. And the U.S. only sided with the KMT because they were opposing the communist, like, takeover of China. That's it. That's the only fucking reason. Initially. And then they became a democratic place. And then we're just like, you know what, cool. They can be beneficial to us economically, and we don't have to, like, really do anything but help protect them. Cool. Oh, getting a phone call. Hello? Doing stream. Yep. Run like a private entity with its entire board appointed and approved by the President and the Senate of the United States. Yeah. They're governors of the Federal Reserve. Appointed. It's just like with the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court's a federal institution. It's just, the Federal Reserve is just privately run. No, it's just run privately. Everything about it is, you can say it's not technically run by the government because the government isn't actively making all the decisions for it, but they appoint all the people. Well, that's the entire system. Since before then, but they just made it worse. Oh, yeah, no. No, absolutely. No, I absolutely despise the federal. Like, no, I don't like it. I just know that it is technically considered a government institution because all of the people who run it are appointed by the government. It's just privately run like a private entity. So they can make money off of investments and interest rates and this, that, and the third. That's actually where all the student loan debt comes from and shit like that. I despise it.
25 minutes into a hour-long video, and some of the end of it's not really. So and I've got it at 1.25 speed. Yeah. So I've got a 1.25 speed on it as well, so I should be done in about 35 minutes. So. All right, later. All right, so that was a phone call, and I wasn't entirely sure how long that was gonna go. So, but fuck it, let's get into it.
So, if Taiwan were to commit so-called independence from China, it would become a satellite state of the Americans. China's not going to tolerate a piece of its territory being cut off. If people try to take China's territory, and they're going to be met with a swift response. It's interesting that it's people. When the people we're talking about, all the people who live there, those are the people who would want to be a sovereign nation. It's not the Americans coming in and they don't. Just shut the fuck up. Please. They don't. You gotta let me speak, okay? My God. Okay, so the people there, overwhelmingly, and there's no data to provide that do not want to be part of the mainland.
Oh, and Camel, when Hinkle said something about Syria not being able to use their resources, and Dylan was like, I don't care, he was saying I don't care because all that was going on was Jackson kept interrupting him over and over and over and over. It's not that he doesn't care that Syria can't use its resources. It's that he doesn't care about the fucking distractions and interruptions when he's in the middle of making a point, which is what Hawes has been doing this entire time, because Hinkle models himself after Hawes, who is a fucking dipshit loser. That's it. Dylan even acknowledged later that he does care about the plight of the Syrian people, but also about the Kurdish people. Because Syria's not doing too hot. Not because of the Kurds, but because Assad. If Assad would come to the fucking negotiating table and actually form a regional government with the Rajavan project, then there wouldn't be the conflict. And guess what? They wouldn't be selling oil and shit to the US. They'd be providing it because of the actual principles that they hold in more anarchistic nature. They'd be providing it to Syria because it's a better thing for the people of Syria to have it. But it's a point of leverage that they have against Assad. So they feel. But Assad is too egotistical to recognize that if he just literally had these negotiations and came to an agreement in a diplomatic form, that'd be over. It'd be done. Syria could fucking prosper like it never has before. But because of his ego, you, personally, suffer for it. You are suffering for a maniacal, dictatorial fuckwit's ego.
Trust the Taipei Times, not the Beijing Times. Okay, tell me what's wrong with the Taipei Times. I can tell you about the fake funding that comes from certain publications. There's no difference. So my source is okay. What's the funding? Oh, it's just funded by private corporations that prop up the government.
So no evidence, and Hawes is just throwing out some dumb shit. Hawes has no idea about any philosophical shit, even though he throws around philosophical terms left and fucking right. He doesn't know actual leftist theory. He will cherry pick quotes that support him, and any arguments made against it, arguments that actually use the theory and apply it to today's material conditions, he rejects. And then he goes back dogmatically to the quotes that he cherry picked. He will play defense for fascists left and right. The man said that Marcus Garvey was a good black leader. Marcus Garvey, the guy who claims that he invented fascism. What the fuck? Anybody who takes him seriously? Anyone. At all. We don't need you on... actually, we need you to become leftists. We don't need you to just call yourself a leftist and be a dipshit. Be actual leftists. Look into shit. Seriously, do you see all these fucking tabs? This is me looking into this shit again. Because while I trust what Dylan says on a lot of things, I don't trust everything Dylan says, and I would like to be able to verify this shit. And yeah, Wikipedia people will be like, hey, Wikipedia scholar. Guess what, buddy? If you scroll down here, oh, look at this! All these fucking cited references. You can go and check every single one of these if you want, with further reading included, and external links for all these things. Yeah. Yeah, how many this is? 70 fucking citations here. And then further reading, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 more fucking external readings. So, yeah. Keep that in mind. Okay, we already went over that. I can close that. And this is just the screen thing. Boom. Boom. So, yeah, no, Haas is a fucking dipshit. If you are a fan of Haas and you have stumbled across this live stream after I'm done, or you stumble in now while I'm shit talking Haas, Haas is fucking brain dead. He uses the R slur against Dylan, and that's how I feel about him, but I'm going to be nice enough to not say it. Yeah. Yeah. I want to. I do. I really do. But it's how I feel about Haas. And his audience usually is super dogmatic and cult-like about him. I will criticize Vosh, like I have before. I have my own criticisms of him. Hell, actually, I have one right now. Vosh, watch The fucking Notebook. It's a wonderful movie. What are you doing? You fucking loser. Keep up the good work, though, buddy. Not even a real criticism. But now, sometimes he does get overly aggressive and a little bit uncharitable to certain people, I think. But sometimes he's a little on edge. Like when people say that when they were like, "Oh, TJ Kirk said was talking some cringe shit about you," and it's pretty obvious bait, and he's like, "Oh no." Yeah, unity with the regional government for Kurdish people in the area that Kurdistan is, so that they have a regional government. It'll still be unity. Like, the country will still be Syria. Now, if you're talking about big Syria and incorporating Jordan and Lebanon and shit, no, that would be imperialism, and we're not about that. Like, Lebanon doesn't want that. Jordan doesn't want that. Jordan wants closer relations to Syria, because closer relations in forming an economic bloc, which you can then leverage so that you stop getting the imperialism, like I've said before, because that's literally the most baseline fucking thing you can do to stop capitalist nations from doing the economic imperialism, which is mostly what they're doing. Sometimes it's boots on the ground, but guess what? If you have a good economic bloc, you're not going to get invaded because you provide too much fucking value to a capitalist nation. And providing value for capitalist nations is the only way that that fucking works. Now, you can do that ethically, or you can do that unethically. You can become a economic foundational system under, say, a mutual aid anarchist system, maybe an anarcho-syndicalist market system, because markets crop up everywhere, even when you try and squash them. Black markets pop up. Anarcho-syndicalist, giant fucking multinational unions between your countries, between different workers, and they have the economic power to be able to wield against the hegemonic nature of capitalism, to be able to, I mean, you provide value to them, but not at a loss to you, not to where it costs you things. You reject IMF loans, you reject World Bank loans, you don't deal with the US Federal Reserve, you only deal with economic relations with them on your terms, because you have a good bloc. The Middle East is oil rich. Y'all can actually produce a good amount of fucking, like, things that we need. And if you have a good economic bloc between your countries, then it's a lot fucking harder to get militaries in there, because we're more willing to trade as capitalist nations than we are to invade as capitalist nations in the modern world. There's a whole lot of frowning upon the invasion. Why do you look at Russia and Crimea? Like, fuck. Camel, you're so fucking stupid. Holy shit. If you don't understand the most basic line, the most baseline economic principles to be applied, I cannot help you here. You're just too stupid. You don't understand what you're fucking talking about. Marx himself wrote that capitalism was a necessary step in the development of socialism because the material conditions have to be met to be able to do a socialist project. That's on them. Nuclear power plants are the way to go. And I'm pretty sure that's not true.
Which is the KMT's military might. They have not changed the foundation, and the KMT is founding history is based on one side. Now, the second thing we're talking about is whether which words are, polls had up. Polls had shown that.
Did you hear anything else that I said there? Anything? Or did you just hear, be benefit to capitalism? Oh my god! They're not a fucking puppet state, you stupid shit! (2017) No, I'm not gonna Google Syria electricity because you didn't say Syria. You said, I wonder why oil-rich Iraq doesn't have electricity half the day. When, guess what, you stupid fuck? They do! They didn't at certain points during strikes and shit when ISIS was attacking, and also because there were some flaws in their fucking grid back in 2003, 2004, 2007. In 2017, there was a missile strike that fucked shit up. Access to electricity percent of population in Iraq was reported at 100% in 2019. 87% had in the post-war in the Wikipedia page. Sometimes it gets lost because of poor distribution. Due to poor transmission and distribution. Poor transmission and distribution. That's the infrastructure that they set up. Not because they don't have enough fucking oil to run their shit. Camel, what do you use to get a generator to run? Is it gas? Is it oil products? Yes. Which means they have gas. Because they're not giving it all to fucking America, you stupid fuck. They have poor infrastructure. Here in America, we don't have, at least, I mean, not in the part that I live in, and across a large portion of this country, we don't have the problems that come along with trying to generate enough power in a desert and in an environment like Iraq, like in Syria, like in Lebanon. We don't have these conditions here in America across the entire place. There are places where it's too fucking cold to get power. There are places where it's too fucking hot to get power. There are places where they just don't run it. You're way too fucking stupid. Holy shit. Oh, the thing I said was bullshit? Well, that's because corruption. You just want us to be capitalist. No. You don't know what you're fucking talking about, and you don't seem to pay attention to anything I'm talking about. You're too fucking dumb for this kind of conversation.
But as far as the Taiwanese people, whether they want to along the road eventually become independent, or along the road want to join with China, both of these are smaller than the percentage who say they either don't care or they would not care either way. So what you're saying is patently wrong. Both of these people.
No, Campbell, I've never heard of corruption. No, never. It's never been a thing that's ever been taught. You can just say corruption. Guess what? Assad, corrupt. He's corrupt. Have you ever heard of corruption? That's why the entire country is the way it is. Assad's corrupt. He's a puppet to Putin. He's a Putin puppet, and he's corrupt. And he's ruining your life. Yeah. Oh my god. Like, oh my god, I can't believe Camel is this fucking dumb. I can't believe there is a brain that smooth. I've never seen a marble with that smooth of a surface.
Your foundational political philosophy, you're trying to impose the thing. We don't care, there's no fucking debate. Don't say like that. You don't want to talk to me. If you want to run from this, you can walk out because I'm talking about what I'm talking about. I don't care. 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 Then walk out. My God, you're yellow. I forgot you dodged the boxing. I'm dodging the fucking boxing match. Yeah, you are. Really? So you want me to dedicate 6 months of my time and spend my streaming career to train the fucking boxing? Wait. You challenged boxing. You didn't accept it. No, I did. Actually, no fucking belt. Really. He's a fucking liar. This fucking liar on record. You are saying I challenged boxing. No, I didn't. First of all, someone came in my fucking chat and asked me, someone came in my chat and asked me, would you fight boss for a prize?
No. No. That is not. Well, of course they don't want a strong opponent, neighbor. But they're not what's ruining your lives, buddy. Matter of fact, yep. Latakia Port says Syrian media. In a shadow war, Israel has targeted suspected Iranian military facilities in Syria and mounted a sabotage campaign against Iran's nuclear program. So, yeah, they don't want a strong Iran, because Iran wants to destroy Israel. You want to destroy Israel, and I can't blame them for not wanting one. However, no, it is not them ruining your lives. It's literally Assad. Like, it is 100%, well, 95% on Assad and the people who back him. Like you, a nationalist dipshit who bought into every piece of propaganda about Assad, claims that he has criticisms of him, and then defends literally everything and dismisses shit that he's done. Shit he's fucking admitted to on TV. You dismiss. Then you claim everybody else is a fucking puppet state. All information is bullshit. Like, come on. Like, no. You are an ideologue. You are dogmatic. You are a fascist. You are a fucking idiot. You are highly nationalistic. And you don't get anything right.
That would cover all of the streaming, all of the fucking yearly. I could sacrifice my streaming career to fucking do it. So of course I'm gonna accept that. Furthermore,
which, by the way, as it showed in the beginning, he said 3 weeks to a month, I'll be done. Not 6 months, not sacrifice a year. Notice how he keeps moving that back? Because every single time it's, oh, I'm going to have to put more effort in and more time in. Until eventually it's like, oh, well, Vosh is training too, so I'm going to have to put in another 3 months. Oh, I'll have to put in another month. Oh, give me 2 more weeks. Oh, give me another week. Give me another week.
So there's something there to gain from that. You're bigger than Bob. I'm bigger than you. How long have you been in the scene? You got some shit. You got all your fucking talk from the November election. I'm rapidly rising, average 600 views. I see your viewership when I'm live. You don't have no fucking views. I already fucking outpaced you.
December 24th, 2019. The day before Christmas is when he joined. June 15th, 2020. Not that much later. How long have you been doing this? How long have you been doing this? Sort by. Date added. Yep, conspiracy shit. Chomsky is the poison to the a poison to the left. No, people like you are, you fucking fascist. Oh look. Probably fascist, 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 fascist. Xiang Yu is 100% a fucking fascist. This dipshit. Oh my god. And then Tanky destroys Vosh. No. And then he comes out right out, why asking for definitions is stupid. Yep, cope. Fucking cope. Tanky obliterates SocDem left. Nope. Tanky defeats Destiny. See, he says every single time. Educates. Sonsol exposed. I mean, he hasn't destroyed you, but you're not growing. Discussion with Caleb Moppin, of course. Leftism today fails Marxism 101. Well, you don't know anything about Marxism, so I'm going to highly disagree with that. I don't even have to watch it. It's the best thing. 2 years ago, my time on the Mike Gravel campaign, explaining the killing of Soleimani 2 years ago. Infrared started in 2020. It's 2022, so he waited for a while before he even bothered uploading, which means he probably came up with the name Infrared as what he thought was going to be like a cool name, or he actually had videos before this and wiped everything because he's a fucking fascist. Wonder if you can pull that kind of shit up. Yeah, if you're gone for a month and your entire shit collapses like that, I mean, eh.
Oh my god, you're talking because you go out like you're big, strong. You want to test me outside? You want to from a big man or go ahead and test me outside. You really want to go outside?
Now here's what the funny thing is. Dylan would beat his ass. Hands down. Oz has no fucking experience. Dylan's a boxer, dude. It's a fighting sport. Yeah, he can't kick you in boxing, but guess what? When it's a street fight, he can use his boxing knowledge and still beat your ass. Well, Iraq, the leader, got killed, and now the country is democratic and has its own fucking shit. Was it bullshit that we went in there? Yeah, I agree. Is the country better right now than it was? Yeah, according to the people who live there. Libya, completely unjustified, did kind of ruin the country, actually. Because Gaddafi was not entirely bad. Gaddafi actually did some good shit. I have my criticisms and my praises of what Gaddafi did. I know, you'd probably be fucking shocked. Guess what? Yeah, the fucking white guy has some positive opinions on Gaddafi? Yeah, I do. And Thomas Sankara.
You can test me. You're free to test my manhood. You're free to test my manhood, Dylan. You go to do that fucking boxing match with rules. Yeah, go to do my fucking boxing match with rules.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty fucking democratic. Look at all these different fucking. Yeah. Christian community has dwindled. I apparently know more than you do, you stupid fuck. Everything you say is pretty much fucking wrong. Spurred by political instability and war, many Christians have immigrated to other regions, including North America, Western Europe, and Australia. Not expelled, you fucking idiot. Camel. Camel. No. No, they weren't. They were not forced to leave. You are lying. You are explicitly lying. I'm not gonna watch one of your fucking nationalist propaganda videos. I have information. There's an actual explanation for this, and it's that because they were Christians, they were more accepted in regions like North America, Western Europe, and Australia. And by the way, this right here, the Christians are not oppressed, poor Kurds, man, is a huge straw man. I didn't say they weren't oppressed. I said they weren't expelled. Two totally different things. But then again, you're extraordinarily fucking stupid, so I don't expect you to understand the difference. No media would mark. You're so fucking stupid. Yes, it is propaganda because every source disagrees. You're just going to show me some fucking YouTube video or some other dumb shit that says, yeah, they were forced to. I used to work for a guy who worked for a guy who worked for a fucking, who worked in the military who said they were forced. And no, I'm not going to accept that level of bullshit. Every other source disagrees. Every official source. And the fact that you think that no media would market Christians in the Middle East as an oppressed group that actually needs to be helped is fucking ludicrous, considering America, North America, the United States of America is a quote-unquote Christian nation with Christian values who goes out of their way to try and help marginalized Christians everywhere. Jesus fucking Christ. You're so illiterate on media analysis, on what media. Oh, the West won't put out any fucking media that paints fucking Christians, the majority religion in Western nations, as an oppressed group in the Middle East. Oh, but they would lie about weapons of mass destruction. But no, they wouldn't dare paint Christians as an oppressed group in the Middle East. How fucking stupid do you have to be, Camel? You fucking idiot. You brain dead fuck. You think one report on the BBC? Oh my fucking god. Camel, you are really testing my anti-ableism line right now? Because I've never seen somebody with a... This right here? This has got to be your fucking skull shape. Camel. This right here? That's not just your hair. No, that is literally where your skull caves in and presses against your fucking brain, squeezing it to the point where you don't understand anything. God fucking damn it. No, that is your fucking skull. That has to be the shape of your skull for you to be this fucking dumb. The mods have to get up in here because they thought Dylan was gonna punch him. No, Dylan's just flexing. Dylan's flexing. That's all he's doing. He'd beat the pants off of Haas. Haas is a fucking giant bitch, baby. Massive fucking coward.
He kept asking me 21 questions like, what's your weight class? What do you want to have? How many rounds do you want to have? And I was just responding, why didn't impose all these fucking conditions on you? You kept asking me.
No, Camel. Syrian propaganda washed your fucking brain. You're very fucking stupid. Extraordinarily fucking stupid. You know, I've talked to people who live in Iraq. I have friends who live in Iraq and have lived there for 50 fucking years. That's right, I talk to people older than me. I talk to various people. I've talked to people in Syria. I've talked to people in Lebanon. I've talked to people in Libya. Out of all of them, Libya is the one that's doing worse. Iraq is doing somewhat better. You want to send me one fucking video of one guy saying it? I've got 4 people in my Facebook that have told me that Iraq is much better after the fall of Saddam Hussein and after the reconstruction efforts. So, fuck you and your stupid fucking sources. Again, you are taking the largest fucking stretch you possibly can. I really hope you stretched, and I hope you're wearing your helmet, because if you fall and you hit your head, it's probably going to do a lot of fucking damage with how soft your skull must be, okay? No. Iraq doing better than it was under Saddam Hussein does not mean that it's God's heaven on earth, and that I believe that the American invasion was a holy invasion, you fucking smooth-brained shithead! Holy fuck, dude. I even said earlier, while you were here, that I don't think we should have gone over there. But you're so fucking stupid and dogmatic and ideologically tied to your fucking dumb shit fascist propaganda that you don't even think about these things. Get the fuck out of my chat! You smooth-brained dipshit! This is your second fucking strike! Next time you start fucking strawmanning and making bullshit statements like that, I will just ban you from the fucking channel, Camel. We're not doing this shit anymore. I've given you far too much leeway.
Yeah, Taiwan is not a country. The overwhelming majority of sovereign countries in the world, if not almost pretty much all of them, don't recognize it as one. They recognize it as a
You're a cuck to Syrian government, dude. That's all you fucking are. You're a giant cuck, they're fucking your wife, and you watch and plead for them to make sure that you get your nummies. Like, fuck off. False. It started with indigenous people's movements, Haas. You fucking idiot. God, I thought Haas was the smoothest brain person that I would come across today. And it turns out, Camel's been here the entire fucking time. He's even dumber than Haas.
the foundation of Taiwan as being based in the foundational ideals of SocDem, which are also shared by the Communist Party of China. The first thing about international recognition is international recognition matters not at all in life when it comes to judging whether a nation is a nation or not a nation. If that's the case, then the mainland was not a country until 1971 when it was the United Nations, or was it a country when the vast majority of nations finally came from Taiwan, China, mainland China, that is, when it comes to recognizing what country is the actual China. Because if that's the case, then what we're saying is that the mainland government wasn't a country until 1971, but 1970 it totally was a country, so that's all the country. International recognition doesn't matter as much when it comes to this. Definitely when it comes to the idea of like, what about we do with our world? That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me at all. If every nation in the world tomorrow doesn't no longer recognize the United States as a nation, that doesn't mean the United States is no longer a nation state. It has all the trappings of a nation state. When you look at Taiwan, it has its own language, it has its own separate history, it has language. Yes, you don't know about how is it a separate language? It's speaking Chinese. Okay, we don't know Chinese. Anyway, there's dialects of Han Chinese. It's my Chinese. It's my Chinese. Okay, so the thing is, they have all the trappings of a modern state. They struggle to instill a separate system of governance, democracy, within Taiwan against the military coup. They have seen the offer from positive buddy, the one country, two systems. They saw it play out in Hong Kong, and the support for independence skyrocketed after seeing the results of that. Because they don't want that for their future. And let's say that every single thing.
Dylan is, again, objectively correct, and Haas is, again, fucking wrong and fucking dumb. Two holes Haas over here. And he laughs, even though he's wrong. This is how unaware Haas actually is. He doesn't even realize how much he's getting blown the fuck out, and he never fucking does. Just like Camel. Yeah. They're about the same in their cringiness, their stupidity, although Camel is about 3 to 15 IQ points lower than Haas, you know, just absolute bottom barrel shit right here. Oh good, he's gone. Get the fuck out of my shit here, Camel. Absolute fucking clown. 300 seconds, yeah. I wish it would stop doing that, though. All right, that's the end of the debate. I don't want to go over the Q&A. I watched this before. It goes a while. You can watch the rest of it on Dylan Burns' channel over here at Dylan Burns TV on YouTube. Go subscribe to him on Twitch at Dylan Burns TV, and follow him on Twitter at Dylan Burns 1776. Yeah, there you go. I cannot believe how much this got derailed. Camel will eventually be banned if he continues on this path, and I really don't give a shit. I don't. I really fucking don't. So, yep, that's going to wrap this up. We're not going over the Q&A. That is for Dylan's channel. I'm not going to go over literally all of the video, so there's that. The Tanky Cope stream review. 4 hours. Oh my god. Okay. Well, that's good. That might be good to watch. Anyways. Y'all, seriously, look into the history of these places. Look into the different things that are being claimed, like Camel talking about. I mean, yeah, he said that they were running out of electricity for half the day, and that was true last year in certain times of the year. But just saying that they go half the day without electricity, it's not actually accurate. It's only portions of the year in certain conditions because of poor infrastructure. And he's sitting there talking about how they don't get it because they're giving away all their oil to America because they're a puppet state. And it's like, no? What? It's like, yeah, they don't have the fuel to run them, to power their stuff. By the way, people use fucking generators to get power when they run out of power in their thing. It uses fucking gas! So, yeah. He was very dumb. Hodge is very dumb. this entire thing was very, very dumb. Y'all take care, please. Do better. Like, for real. Because this isn't it, and Hawes's behavior isn't it. And I got heated here, too. I'm not doing much better. Oh my god, was the debate fucking muted the entire time? I hope not.